I came down here to do Jonesborough Days in 1979 and never left. "101 East Main was vacant, and the rent was $325, and that included the apartment upstairs. And thought, well, I'll teach classes and pay my rent. And the first class I had 7 people. I charged them $100 a head for 4 classes through the month. And I thought, what am I going to do with all this money? You know, and we found plenty of things to do with it and managed to pay the rent as well. So that just got me here, and the building was a beautiful Victorian storefront, and I just fell in love with it. And it was a working studio, it wasn't a gallery. Then eventually we evolved into a gallery and became Jonesborough Art Glass Gallery. We sold the work of 75 to 125 artists over 38 years, and pottery and blown glass and jewelry and wood and books and just an array of contemporary crafts. Since I told my dad I was going to quit college and become a stained glass artist, and he gave me the eye roll and said, well, okay. And that's all I've done since then. And I do some wood, and I've done a little metal, and sometimes all of that is part of a stained glass creation.
What surprised you?
I've been here so long, I've seen it ebb and flow a dozen times. John Cloyd was a jeweler downtown, and you know, here came these damn hippies renting the stores, opening up a hot dog stand, a stained glass store, a photography shop. Gary Gerhardt opened, where the hemp store is, opened a pottery shop, of all things, you know. So, but then when we started bringing people to town, and they bought hot dogs, and they ordered photographs, and they bought stained glass, and that kind of thing, and came in John Cloyd's store. He warmed up to us, kind of made everything okay, and then, you know, then was pretty nice about it, actually. A sweet, sleepy little place that is really looking good right now, and has for a few years. Well, I did create Music on the Square in 2000, and that was definitely a weekly basis, you know, I mean, May through September, and I did it for 20 years. They used to have music in the park behind the log cabin. There was a little pavilion back there, and there was a nice grassy lot before the parking lot. And and the East Tennessee Musicians Co-op had music there. Then when Bill Howes moved away, well, that was the end of that. That's how those things go sometimes. We were trying to bring people to town. And so I said, well, let's recreate Music in the Park, but let's make it Music on the Square and close off the street and send traffic around the courthouse and have music out here where it will actually help the restaurants and the businesses and put people in your face. They said, we could do that, but we couldn't block off the street. And so we did that a couple or 3 weeks, and here's performers over here and listeners over here and traffic in between. And of course the traffic is going,
Yeah.
you know, and the music's playing. Sometimes they come through and they rev their engines or blow their horn. And, you know, it's kind of like, what are you crazy people doing down here? And so we stole some sawhorses and blocked off the front of the courthouse and sent people around the courthouse. They came to me and they said, I remember seeing Gerald Sparks way down the street toward the candy store, looking like, what are they doing down there? And so they called me in and they said, look, you can't block the street. I said, well, somebody's going to get hurt. I said, the traffic really doesn't understand what we're doing, and they're coming through and they're being rude and blah, blah, blah. I said, we really need to do that. And they said, sorry, not going to happen. We can't close the street every Friday night for music. And they got so many calls that night from the word of mouth, you know, of them saying no, that the next day they called me back and said, all right, we're going to try this and see what happens. And Gerald Sparks gave me a check for $100, and he said, now don't spend all that in one place. And so that was the beginning of that. Yeah, we play every Wednesday night here. We've been doing it for 40 years. We're the Ozone Rangers, just a garage band. We like all kinds of music. Our logo is always welcome, never invited. If you're an Ozone Ranger, you've never met a stranger, you can always get excited that the waste that you create will someday seal our fate. Always welcome, but never invited.
When was the time you were grateful to be living in Jonesborough?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. It's, I don't even know how to elaborate on that. That's just, you know, everybody says, oh, we live in such a special little town. I mean, other towns and stuff. And you know, you kind of, you don't know nothing. 'Cause, you know, we got something going on damn near every weekend, and your town may be special, but we're really special. I just think it has an energy that is conducive to creativity. You know, a beautiful setting. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to live somewhere, but they don't all have to live here.
Yeah.
So,
what are the things that have remained the same that you still love about them?
well, just the camaraderie, the volunteerism, the people wanting to participate. The volunteerism is just a big part of all the events that happen around here.